All right. We are live. 26 minutes on time, parentheses late. But that is okay because we made something very magical happen tonight that we're so excited to share with you guys. But before we can, we of course have to do our tradition of Minute to Win It. And so Tom just created something fantastic. So he is full of wisdom tonight. So Tom, what is our Minute to Win It this evening?
Minute to Win It. I'm going to try to keep us really on track with this 1 minute and, give a little teaser. Me and Sam both saw Dune and we both absolutely loved it. But even though we loved it, we had a very fun, heated conversation today about the length. And so that kind of makes me bring up the length of movies. And, and my little minute to win it is, guys, I understand Sam's side of he enjoyed how long it was. I, on the other hand, felt it was too long, even though it was awesome. And we talked about how I still liked Oppenheimer. I still liked Killers of the Flower Moon. Sam saying, what the hell am I complaining about then with this one? And, I hear you, but I think on the whole, I just feel like, hey, guys, can we start moving movies back to 2 hours long and just keeping them at 2 hours? And then every once in a while you have a 90-minute movie and it feels great. So, hey, that's my minute to win it. It's to the Hollywood directors and big buck studios. Let's get movies back to 2 hours. Okay. Thank you.
Boom. That was amazing. All right. Well, with that, you guys, speaking of movies, we have a short film, which is AKA our new intro. And, really quick before we let it roll, just full credit where it's due. Shout out to Central City, local band here that just does amazing music, and they fit this vibe perfectly. Tom worked super hard on this introduction. Song's called The Sentinel. We're going to let it rock and roll. Let us know what you guys think. It's pretty fun.
A Comic Book Club, your weekly TV show on comic book culture.
That is never, ever going to get old. Tom, you did so freaking good. Wow.
Just real clean.
Let's get ready to fight, boys.
Get ready to fight. That was fantastic. Nicely done. Oh, man. Well, let's go ahead and open up the show. There is no way that I can compete with that, but I'm going to do my best. Hey, everybody, it's a Comic Book Look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. If you're in the Sioux Falls area, stop by and say howdy to Sam and the team there, especially Wednesday through Saturday, because you see Sam usually hiding his hair, but he is part of the Long Hair Don't Care Club tonight. And also in Lincoln, Nebraska, we have an amazing team down there with Taylor in the squads. Oh, it's out tonight. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Right away, Blair is definitely on time for Comic Book Church, saying 10 out of 10 with the new intro. Thank you so much. We love the new introduction. Tom did a beautiful job with it, bringing all of us to life. Shout out to Mark. He couldn't be here tonight, you guys. But Mark actually was the first person to get his green screen homework done, and he doesn't even live in Sioux Falls, so shame on us. But we had a blast doing it. Anywho, continuing the openings, I am co-CEO and host for the evening, John on Demand, a.k.a. Johnny Locks, joined by co-CEO and Midwest Highlander. There can only be one, Tom Devine. And then, of course, you guys, the newest hot rod on the Comic Book Look parking lot. I was going to say potluck. What? But Sam, aka @Nullman12, is with us, rocking and rolling. Check him out on TikTok. He has some very fun videos. And wow, you guys, that intro, I can't get over it. I love it.
Hell yeah, man! It's good to get that out there. It was really a fun concept that we all together came up with. So, it was fun to put together.
You really showed up though, Tom. We all did a little bit, but you were the prime mover of that. So all the flowers to you, man. Yeah. All of it, man. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that was amazing. Can we do it again?
Yeah.
There's so many people tuned in right now.
Yeah, why not?
We're gonna roll the intro again because we loved it so much.
A Comic Book Look, your weekly TV show on comic book culture.
I'm sorry. I just want to keep play. This is how I felt with like Comics by Night video too. You know, when that got done, I'm like, it's so great. I love
That
it.
was also beautiful.
But
Love that too.
so great job with that, Tom. Seriously.
Hell yeah, man. It was
Oh,
fun.
man.
And hey, man, it's all about keeping it comics, baby. We're rolling along.
Oh, that's so great. All right. Well, anywho, it is March already, boys, of 2024. Every time, I open up a new month, I'm like super surprised by the year and the month and everything. But the reality is that time has been flying by like crazy. Facebook user, I see you in the comments. Chad, I'm assuming that's you, and I'm betting you're in the Comic Book Look group because that likes to hide.
We know it's
names.
Chad because he's talking about
Yeah.
about Ghost Rider already.
Yo.
Yeah, that was our topic, me and Chad, today at the store. It was Chad's got his points for sure. I would agree on some of them, but the reason why Ghost Rider has most of them powers is because of Danny.
There you go.
Love it.
Oh, heavens. Well, you guys, a couple of things on the docket here before we look at some comic books tonight. First of all, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the upcoming X-Men 97 2-episode premiere on March 20th. Cannot wait at all. This is what got me into comics, you guys. I will say the series definitely did not end as strong as I would have liked it to, and the change in artwork towards the end broke my little heart. But definitely exciting, and definitely open to see what they're going to do with it. So, are you guys pumped for it?
I'm very excited. I never went back and watched the end, so I don't even remember how it ends. If it I didn't even realize it ended at all. But I would say the highlight of the original series is that huge run about Sentinels. It's about six or seven episodes long, and it's just such a good, it's the best kind of cartooning can be in it. Has all our favorite guys in it and all our favorite gals and all our favorite Morlocks and the space. It's perfect, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
And so that's always been my highlight, and I've rewatched that a few different times. And so, yeah, I'm excited just, after this much time. Of course, it is going to be, it's going to be for kids. It's not like I'm going to go jump in here and think that they're going to be like rewriting, doing something crazy that I've never heard of. But I think they're going to be doing something that I really like, which is these characters in this fun setting. So I am definitely excited, John.
Yeah, heck yeah. Word up. Sam, you do not look excited about this.
Well, I see. Well, the problem for me, guys, is that I didn't really grow up with that show.
What?
It's not really something that I had accessibility to me as a kid. And the shows that the X-Men show that I grew up with was X-Men Evolution.
Hey, that's a good one too, though.
Yeah, I grew up with that, and I watched Wolverine and the X-Men. Those are my two, and I really loved those. But the reason why those existed is because of that one, the one you guys are really hyped about. And when people think of the X-Men, that's what they think about.
Yeah,
those characters in that style.
Yeah.
Everything is based off that pretty much. So I got to give it its credit then, because I have yet to watch any of it, but I know that you got it was the foundation to any other X-Men show.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. No, I'll be curious to see how it goes, and definitely some big shoes to fill, in my opinion. There's other people that are they hate the original show or whatever, but I'm personally very excited about it, and I'm kind of always curious to see how it links to everything else. So.
Dude, Chad is on fire in the comments.
I can't win, man.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Exactly, John. I mean, Chad's not wrong here. Sam, you failed him.
Oh,
dude. Hell yeah.
That's awesome. The other thing that we were kind of touching on a little bit there was I just wanted to shout out to Dune 2, Dune Part 2, the film. It does have comic books surrounding it. When I was at Rainbow, there were a few customers that were just on fire passionate about Dune. So hopefully all of you had a chance to see the film. If you haven't seen the film, definitely recommend, of course, watching that Part 1 first. I was definitely a doubter because when we watched Part 1, I fell asleep twice. But I was able to sit through and watch it. I will say Part 2 is more action packed, and definitely a sharp film. I was actually really impressed with it, so I'm glad I got to go see it.
The first
Oh,
one
it's
is all
exciting.
pretty.
I didn't know that.
What was it?
You want me to go? Okay.
Oh.
Well, the first one is a lot like it's very fun. It has its action to it still, but it's all preamble for the second one that lets everything. And now that you know everything, now that everything's set up, everything's popping off now. It's all the really cool stuff that you hoped for, and it blew my mind, man. This was the best like theater experience I've had in a long time. I got to be real with it. It played into the hard sci-fi action of it so well. Like you could tell like the people who made it really had a lot of like love for Dune and everything that comes with it, the characters, and yes, they ride worms.
Yep, they definitely rode the worms.
They ride worms, and
Shout out to riding worms. Yep.
Shout out to drinking that sick psychedelic fluid you find inside of the worms.
Oh
yeah.
Next time I go to a festival, I'm bringing some of that. Oh shit, John got some.
There we go.
I
would
was
drink the hell out of
out
that, man.
tonight.
If I suddenly talk in demonic voices making recommendations about read Dark Avengers, that's what.
Yeah. If all of a sudden John says read Dark Avengers and I don't sound like myself and I'm like, I love Dark Avengers. You know, John
Wasn't
has
that a couple months ago? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. John gave me the voice. That wasn't me. He used the voice on me.
Oh man. What was that religious order called that they're a part of? Like the Benedictine.
Bene Gesserit?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, man, they're freaky. They're the puppeteers in the end, man. They're holding all the strings.
We'll see in Dune Part 6.
I can't wait.
It'll be out in 2050.
There's 14 books. You could go forever.
Oh man. If anyone in the comments has read a lot of these comic books, especially the new offerings, and you did see the movie, how did it compare? What are your thoughts? We would love to know.
Yeah, I mean, I read the first, I was telling Sam, I read the first 5 books. And not the comic books, but just the regular books. And the first one is one of the best sci-fi books like ever written. And it's just on such an upper echelon. And it does kind of go downhill a little bit after the first one, where they're still great stories, but you can definitely tell they're telling stories now instead of coming up with this amazing idea and this whole idea of spice and the these 4 worlds that are really broken down into the house, the good house we like, the evil house we like, the emperor, and where the spice is. And those kind of 4 different, how that all meshes in the book is just done so well. And the dichotomy between the different worlds plays so strongly off each other. So it's I think it does a really, really good job of that. Yeah, I told you guys I watched Dune 1 and our Dune Part 1 and the 1984 version in preparation to go into Dune 2, and I saw it last night. And then Sam was like, "Tom, you didn't do the series, right?"
Yeah, Sam, you didn't do the mini series they did as well.
Anybody watch that? Has anybody seen that?
It's on the list now.
Yeah,
like I'm fully I'm drowning in Dune and I'm okay with it. I love it so much right now. He who has power over the spice has power over all.
That was a strong way to start. Strong way to start before even the title or anything. They're coming out with the voice is like telling us that too.
Yeah.
Man.
Catching up on comments super quick here. Jeff was just checking in with us saying, "What up, players?" and "What up, Jeff?" Dune Part 2, masterpiece of filmmaking. Truth bombs. Thank you, Jeff, for tuning in, man. Good.
For sure. And I said the same thing. I just thought it could have been 20 minutes shorter. Is all I am saying. I get it. It's a big epic, like Sam was telling me at the comic shop today, but I just feel if you're doing a 2-parter where the first movie doesn't have an actual ending, that is already way too long, then the second one's got to come in, and it does. I just thought it was slightly too long. But yeah, I mean, just top-notch acting all the way around. The I did tell Sam this as well, so I am repeating some of this stuff. But I did think that the big actors that had the cameos for future characters kind of did throw me out of there because it didn't seem like I was in this Dune world anymore. It really seemed like I was in Hollywood when it's like, oh, Anna Taylor-Joy pops up as the sister for one scene, and then Christopher Walken is the Emperor, and Black Widow's sister is the Emperor's daughter, and I'm like, okay, they're only in here a little bit. It definitely threw me off. Where Sam was like, what are you talking about? Josh Brolin stuff is still, and Stellan Skarsgård are very famous too. And I was like, yeah, but they were in the first one, so it didn't throw me out of it as well because I've already lived with those characters.
I mean, if anything, I thought like Zendaya being there was the most like. It's not like she's a great actress. It's just that I feel like I'm watching Zendaya. Like I had to keep reminding myself, what's this character's name actually?
Mary Jane.
Pachi, I believe is her name.
It is funny because like with Zendaya or Brolin, they have like California accents, kind of. So it's kind of like they're in this Dune area and they're like, I will not do this, bro. I feel like,
we live in Ferment.
Yeah. And it just comes out every once in a while. You're like, oh yeah, these guys live in the West Coast. They have West Coast accents. It's and usually our fantasy, as we said, has
kind of like a British
accents. Yeah.
The one I'll give you is Walken. I'll give you that one because Walken, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Christopher Walken's the Emperor. Got it. Understood. Moving on. It was a little weird, but to me, like I just felt that, like it fit. I felt like he would be like a good like secondary character to add in there because he always is a fantastic secondary character actor.
I agree. And when you do have him sitting on the throne in the second part, and you've already seen his daughter say how power hungry he is, and he took down a house of Atreides, it's like, oh yeah, he does look pretty fucking cool, and this is super dope.
Him just sitting on the throne, and then everybody's going after him, and he's like, bring it.
It's just the one. It's just this. By that time, you're okay. It's just that first scene when they pop in and it's the daughter and him, and you're like, "Whoa, who is this?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, loved it. Still loved it.
If you threw a beer rating at this part 2, which is a little tricky when you take part 1 out of the equation, what would part 2 be?
7 out of 5 beers.
And I go 6 out of 6. I mean, I'm not sure on Sam 7 out of 5, but
7 out of 5. I forgot. I forgot we go on by 6. That was like 7 out of 5.
You too can have a comic book look ratings at home.
God damn it! I did it again.
Oh man!
Oh, it's so good.
7 out of 5 beers. Yeah, I'm with Tom on that. 6 out of 6. I was entertained. I was loving it.
Yep.
My popcorn didn't last very long either because I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening next? And
I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So. Sam drank the 6th one, Blair said.
Yeah, exactly.
I often do.
Oh man!
All right, let's get into some comics, Johnny.
Yeah,
hit it. So I am not going to go first tonight because I only have one set of comics to talk about, but it's 5 issues of books. So that was what I read today.
Yeah, Sam, why don't you start us off? I only have one thing to talk about too.
Yeah, sure. Oddly enough, I didn't get a whole lot of books this week. It just happened to be a light week for me, which that's fine. I got plenty to read otherwise too. Mm-hmm. But I guess the first thing I'll do is because it is a graphic novel I read recently for my read what you own graphic novel challenge. I'm up to 11 out of 333, so we're making progress. But the one I did today was for a character I had never read before until this. I read Captain Marvel for the first time. It's a volume 1. This is written by Kelly Thompson. Okay. I read this for National Women's Month.
Cool.
So I could just make sure I could gotta get I gotta celebrate, gotta show my allyship there with that. But this was actually a really cool read. I never have read Captain Marvel, so I didn't really know what to gather from it. All I've really known is the movies, and they're very okay movies. I don't love them, but nor do I hate them. But this was a fun thing. She goes against a guy named Nuclear Man, who's just the 7-foot Russian pimp, and somehow he makes a post-apocalyptic post-apocalyptic like shell over Roosevelt Island in New York. In this came out in 2019, and everybody in there goes like it's like it feels like for every minute outside of the dome is like a day or two inside the dome. So everybody feels like they've been so they feel like they've been in there for ages. And this is it was really fun. That was the main story in it. Basically, Carol just kind of comes in and is trying to fight with the rebellion, which is like Spider-Woman's in it, She-Hulk's in it. The character Hazmat is in it. I didn't know if she's a big thing or not. There's that one. It talks about some main character, like it talks about how she's half Kree now. I guess that's a big retcon they did recently for her. It was fun. She's a character that I could tell you I don't relate to. I don't relate to her problems, mostly because she's just an entirely different person than me. I can't understand her problems. Like she is like an uber powerful like space god character at this point, right? Where she has the power of the sun. And so she just knows that she feels like she has to be everywhere and has to be perfect because of these powers. And since I'm not a uber powerful space god person, I don't know what that's like. And she loves being a hero, and she hates the idea that she like that when people don't think of her that way. Because like she keeps trying to save her, and she keeps trying to she keeps trying to save people, but all they do is go and say like, "Hey, nah, you're nothing," and it really messes with her head. So it was a fun read. Kelly Thompson knows how to write a very quippy characters and like characters who have been heroes for ages. And,
yeah, man!
And it was a fun time. I really enjoyed that read. Will I pick up another Captain Marvel thing? Maybe not immediately, but I wouldn't hesitate to read more of her.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? There's no bad characters in the entire world. There's only bad storytellers. So if you have a problem with the character, it just means there hasn't been an author that's been able to nail it. And I think Carol Danvers has had some really amazing character arcs that is like make her a very, very strong character. She's Captain Marvel. She has the namesake of the entire brand behind her. I think it's really cool to have her be so powerful, almost Superman-like in how much power she has, playing that role in Marvel. But then in Marvel, they're always able to show the same vulnerabilities of that same person who has that much power. And with Carol Danvers, it sounds like in this one, what's really cool is it was the stress of having those powers and knowing that she should be helping everybody all the time. Well, you know, let's just think of your own life, right? It's like, do you want to do stuff for other people all the time? Or is there some times you need to take care of yourself if you want to keep on having a healthy, happy life? So I think that's really cool, Sam. Thanks for bringing that book to the table.
Yeah.
I always love to hear characters because I haven't been reading a lot of Marvel superheroes. And so, yes, I'm not familiar with this run, a 2019 run. But yeah, always cool when when Miss Marvel shows up.
Yeah. I got to piggyback on that too. Miss Marvel had some very fun reads, particularly during Dark Reign. Moonstone posed as Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel and threw Captain Marvel through an airplane turbine, which was insane. And so it's just so crazy to see the trials and tribulations that Carol's gone through as a character, though. And I don't know.
Yeah, and like to kind of piggyback on a comment I saw in there, they talk about how like Rogue kind of took her powers and everything.
Yeah,
they talk about that in this book.
Yeah,
they talk about how like Rogue, like she just has like trauma about Rogue.
Yeah, how could you not?
She's appreciative of Rogue's like becoming a hero, but she says, Rogue, we're never going to be friends. But I appreciate what you're doing in your with things, and I think this is best as we can be casual acquaintances. and I'm just happy for what you've doing better for yourself, because that's like her big trauma, is that she doesn't like being like her people taking her powers, because it's like happened multiple times apparently.
Well, her powers have always ebbed and flowed and changed you, so I believe
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Oh,
So
that's cool.
that's my first read, at least.
Cool. All right, John, you want to go next? You want me to?
Yeah. No, I can tackle it. So you
Excellent.
guys, Chad had posted something about how far behind I am, which he's entirely correct. But I did just read over the past like week and a half to 2 weeks, half a short box of just X-Men titles. And so I am all the way through January or early February now. So I'm just getting to like the Fall of X, like main issues, and then all the side stories and crap. But I have read so much. Like I read about 5 to 7 issues a night, just to get through it all. So I am actually through that for right now. I will be going to Rainbow Lincoln here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and I'll get a refill on those X-Men reads. But for right now, I am just working through Backstock, and tonight I wanted to tackle this previous run of Spidey 2099 called Dark Genesis. Couple of things on this. First of all, when you throw that darn border on any of these covers, I'm in, because I love my X-Men 2099 issue 1, the blue border, the gold border. I don't care. Punisher 2099, don't care. Need it. So whenever it has this border on it, I get it. But the problem is I only got 2 of them. I got issues 1 and issue 5, so I must have missed out on the rest. But that's cool. This is a 5-issue run. It is focusing on a Carnage symbiote getting broken out of its container and assuming the body of what is called, I think it's like a dark card person or a black card person, because they're like an elitist in Nuevo York during that time of 2099. So it's an upper up person that his apartment.
The person who has like a card that has no limit on it.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
no, but it's the term for the people, the crowd is what they're saying though. And so it's like a weird echelon of society, I guess. So this dude's apartment gets broken into. He basically becomes Carnage. But I gotta say, overall, this had a lot of things where I was like, what am I reading? Why am I reading this? And so, first of all, Carnage as like lizard or a dinosaur.
He looks like iguana.
Why?
Man, I don't know.
Why am I reading this?
Why am I reading this? I wasn't very thrilled about that. Now,
because it has a cool cover. That's why you're reading it, John.
I mean, the border was cool, just to clarify. But yeah, the more I got into it, I was like, hey, this is a little bit of a stretch. Now, the thing that 2099 Spider-Man's been doing really good at, that the original runs did a little bit of, but not enough for me. This felt very concentrated, like this could have been spread out over 10 issues maybe, but every issue was a new character of the week that you would meet. And so issue 2, introducing Blade 2099. And Blade 2099 was an interesting character, but not in the way that I couldn't put the book down, if you will. So Blade 2099 evidently has an appetite for human flesh, and then also is a doctor, and fights with like 2 katanas, which that part's fair. But ultimately, the relevance of that character in here was total side piece. Like, oh, it's Blade, shock value. But I will say, for issues 1 and 2, what really stood it up for me was that darn Ghost Rider 2099. I love that character so much. He's so quirky, like digital fire and everything. I love it. So that was the saving grace for those, right? You get to issue 3. This has Punisher 2099 on the cover.
Gallows? What's his name? John Gallows?
Yeah, like Jake Gallows or whatever.
Jake Gallows,
Chad loves this character. Chad adores Punisher 2099. I'm saying this just to get him going. But the funniest part about this cover is I don't actually think we see much of him in this issue, because he gets revealed in like issue 4, issue 5. So that's even better. But we also meet Venom 2099 in there, and Moon Knight 2099, which was interesting too. So it was okay. They were bringing in characters, left and right to battle Carnage. Carnage was riling up the crowd, and Carnage feeds off of blood. So he's like, if you guys sustain me, I will get you social justice. That is totally not a Carnage platform. But I guess in 2099, maybe the symbiote got bored and wanted to try a different route instead of mindless killing. Um,
Yeah, he's all about anarchy. So it's
right.
kind of weird that he'd be like,
But it's like, yeah, let's do it in a more social justice organized way. Now, the other redeeming thing to this was there was an X-Men 2099 villain throughout this called Halloween Jack, which Halloween Jack was an interesting character because he was a shapeshifter and just total Loki-esque character. But he actually made an appearance in X-Force during the 90s run, which I thought was mind-blowing at the time when you bring someone from 2099 into a present-day book. It's like, what? So that was kind of neat. But ultimately, I'm happy to see some of the characters that I know and love from 2099. I'm happy to make new friends too, because there have been some really good offerings, such as I think it was Civil War 2 with the Secret Wars 2099. It had the Avengers, like a corporate team that was like corruptly managed and stuff. That was really good actually. It was like a 4-issue run. But this in particular, I personally can't vouch for it because I had such high hopes for Blake and Moon Knight, and it really broke my heart. And I will say the other thing is I'm really nervous about reading the next arc where it has like Werewolf by Night 2099 because I have all that.
the longest named superhero ever.
Yeah, that too. Jeez. Who are you? I am Werewolf by Night 2099. During that time, I have committed my crime and I am leaving. You just keep introducing yourself. But it has Dracula in it and stuff too. So I'm a little nervous about reading it just because this I was really looking forward to, and this kind of fell face first for me. If I had to give a beer rating collectively across all of this, I mean, I'm hesitant to even give it much of anything, but I'd probably give it 2, mainly because Ghost Rider 2099 carried it for me. And then otherwise, it's just nice to know what's going on, I guess, in 2099, but I don't know. It wasn't the strongest thing. If you're a 2099 fan, it's worth looking at, but
Can I ask you a question, Johnny?
no.
Okay, I understood.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, my question is like, with the fact that they're introducing all these newer like versions of like these 2099 versions of these characters in for you, do you like that they're doing that, or do you wish they'd make new characters for the 2099 universe to make it separate, or is it just going to be like a new like skin basically for a character we already kind of know, just a little different? Do you like the idea of them doing this, or do you like them? You wish they'd do something more original with it?
I'll let you know after this next set, because that digital Man Thing is really intriguing to me, because Man Thing is like has the potential to just go on and on and on, you know, knows no boundaries kind of thing. Dracula is another one where he's in 2099. So
that would make sense because he's like an immortal though, so
right.
That would make more sense.
Loki was around, you know, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is just reiterations and rehashings of different characters. I'm not mad about those if it's done right. I really liked X-Men 2099 for just how different the characters were. And so, yeah.
Okay. Nostalgia reasons. It came out at a time when 2099 was so cool because everything was new and bright and shiny.
And they had profanity words like, what the shock?
So, yes, exactly. And Captain America killed. And it was, you know,
Doom for president and all that.
That's right.
That legitimately happened. That is a weird thing they did. And
So yeah, I mean that's I think that's where 2099 will never really die, because there's just a certain group of people around my age that will always like 2099.
So bad.
You think we're gonna get, first off, like hopefully comics is still existing in 2099 the year, but what happens when we get to that point and people are going to be like ironically reading 2099 books in 2099?
They'll be like, this is what, I mean, it's like us watching Back to the Future too.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I've read some like Iron Man 2020, like with Arno Stark and everything.
Oh,
and I'm just like, that's not what 2020 was.
Arno Stark.
I just feel like 2099 is just going to have a ton of memes and stuff that are all in jokes and posts and stuff that all kind of play on the 2099 Marvel.
It's enough years away actually where we could just create spider people. Exactly. You know, it's definitely possible.
If AI takes over by then, you know, who knows what they're going to create.
I'll read the next set of these though, the scary ones for next time, just because I'm really curious about them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks, John. Good to talk. Good to hear about 2099 and Spider-Man. And yeah, I mean, Marvel's good at putting in those cool guest characters that you're always wanting a little more out of. But it's still exciting to see him on the cover.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about today is Fat Cop by Johnny Ryan. Johnny Ryan, if you guys don't know, is an ultra vulgar cartoonist who tries to offend on every single panel or page. And so I was really excited that I couldn't believe he was putting out an entire book through a distribution place. Usually he just sells his own stuff on his Instagram account and stuff like that. And he's had his Instagram account closed multiple times and have to restart because his posts are not safe for work. And so this book is no different. It has a small child visiting his mother's grave, and then he turns around and then shits on the mother's grave and then wipes his ass with the flowers that someone else had brought to his grave. And so that's just where it starts. And then it goes into a cop who busts him, who's really seems to be more into fast food or licking girls' faces, wounds. I don't know. It's very, very strange. It pushes the boundaries of what people should be making comics for. It's something you can't digest a whole lot at one time. It's very hard to just sit down and be like, you know what, I'm going to be with this book for an hour and a half and just read it through. So you really got to take it in 10, 20 pages at a time, laugh a little bit, and then come back to it later. So yeah, Fat Cop by Johnny Ryan. There to offend you. If you are easily offended, you will be offended. It's really good. But yeah, then it's a lot of funny jokes too, making fun of cops, making fun of, I don't know, a lot of stuff. It's good. So what I've read so far, definitely, 6 out of 6. But
dude, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, on.
That is an absurd book. I can't I definitely can imagine that his Instagram has been like from the pages I saw, I could definitely imagine that being like, yeah, we can't have that on Instagram multiple times.
So it's good. I was super stoked to see it, and shout out to Amanda for getting that book in at Rainbow for me.
Boom.
Almost had to smuggle it in.
Yeah. And shout out to Fantagraphics for getting a book. And then it's cool because I have a, first edition Johnny Ryan, of course, nice hardcover, great Fantagraphics package, good spine, the whole deal. It's great.
It's very well put together. I'll say that.
Yep.
Well, good. That is all the books I technically had tonight, boys.
That's right. We wanted to keep it short, so that's perfect. We'll keep it under 40 minutes. That's nice.
Awesome. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to lift up before we shut her down?
I guess I have one little thing quick. So lately, Marvel had this idea that I think is fantastic that they're doing. It's this one is the free version to kind of get your feet wet into the idea of it, but they're called Marvel must-haves. These are free. The first one's free that you can get it. You can get it at Rainbow if you so desire to, and other comic shops, I imagine. It literally is an American comic version of Shonen Jump. Where either of you guys read Shonen Jump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's just literally manga anthology.
Yeah, it's an manga anthology of stories like One Piece, DBZ, I don't know, Death Note. Insert.
The magazine. Duh. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of books.
No, John's definitely familiar with it.
But this book right here is literally just a bunch of stories that they put together for whatever reason it is. They put a Deadpool Spider-Man book to start it because movie coming out of Spider-Man. It's just a couple of different stories put together, and if you want to, if you just want some bite-sized stories where you can just read a few different characters, and maybe you don't like one of them, maybe you do like another, but you like the other ones, you're not gonna be totally disappointed by reading something like this because you're gonna get at least 4 different types of stories in it. This is something that I've been wanting comics to do for ages. This is something where you can make and put characters that who may not like be able to sell a full book on. Like, you couldn't make a Morbius book last 20 issues. You just can't do it. As much as people want to have it happen, it's not going to happen. But you could put a 5-issue series basically in one of these, and people could get used to Morbius, and then maybe you could do a series after that. It's a primer kind of stories to something, and I think it's a great idea. This one,
Sam, I've never heard of this. First of all, I buy all the anthology books, right? Image does an amazing one who had Walking Dead stories, criminal stories through there. You go for those, but then you're reading 600 little storylines. They're changing things out. Sometimes they last 4 issues. Sometimes they last all 10 issues or 12 issues. That Penthouse Comics, that's an anthology. But you're 100% right. That why doesn't Marvel have Marvel Showcase #1, and it's $2.99, and they give you, they have 5 different storylines that they give you 5 pages of. Oh my God, that'd be so smart. A Marvel anthology. So to see that they're doing it and giving it away for free, great job, Marvel.
First one at least. This one has a Spider-Man Deadpool comic. It has a Miss Marvel comic. It has the first issue of a Mortal Thor in it. It's like if you want to like wet your whistle on just like trying some classic, like some style, like some heroes that maybe you didn't before. Like I've never read Thor. Like I've read a few graphic novel versions, but I've never read Thor. This is the first time I'm ever going to read a Thor book, a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it. I think it's a fantastic idea they're doing this.
Yeah,
totally. Way to shout that out, Sam. That's
dope. Nice find. That's awesome.
Oh,
well. Other than that, the only other thing I'll say for those of you tuning in that didn't see the start of the show, shout out to Tom again for this fantastic new intro video, and shout out to Central City, local band here in Sioux Falls as well, and their track "The Sentinel," which is the music on the track. So definitely loving that, and we're so excited to keep rocking and rolling with you guys throughout this year and talking some more books. So until next time, collectively on the social medias, I am @John on Demand. We have @Tom Stu Divine, and then on the TikToks for all you young folks and whippersnappers out there, we have Sam @Nullman12. Blair saying play it.
Oh, you want to play one more time?
Should we? I'm gonna do the show outro, and we're gonna play it, and then we're gonna be done. All right.
I was gonna say you play it, and then once it's done, you just end the stream.
We're gonna end the stream, but it might be an awkward pause where it slightly comes to us. I don't know. We'll see if I can time it out well. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll let the intro play one more time just for you, Blair, and we'll see you guys next week. Keep it comics for sure, and begging boys never boring. All right.
Boom.
All right. Boom. Boom. All right. Here we go.
A Comic Book Club, your weekly TV show on comic book culture.